Today's episode, we're going to set sail for a romance that'll sweep you off your feet. Prepare for the adventure, the intrigue, and the romance as Amanda Mariel brings us Captivated by the Captain. I'm Michael Foster, and this is Reaction to Romance. I was reading the biography of best-selling author Amanda Mariel, and she said something along the lines of she yearned for a time when life moved at a slower pace. Truer words have never been spoken. I can't think of a way you'd be able to slow things down more than being a captain of a ship back in the 17 or 1800s. That's taken things pretty slow. Probably not a lot of comfort involved either. So it looks like the old captain here is falling for the lady in red. So I see this captivating pirate captain and a pretty girl, and I think to myself, well, she's captivated. So were they like rock stars back then? If you were the captain of a pirate ship where you looked at as sort of like this, it's kind of like dating like Jax from Sons of Anarchy, kind of the bad boy thing. I often wonder, what was the whole thing with, hey, I'm dating a pirate. It's this guy Jasper. He swings in sometimes, off his ship. He jumps off this plank and he's got this big rope and he swings across and he ends up at our dock and he comes on and he smells really good like herbs and he's always got a bottle of rum and his hair is, he's got some nice hair. It's, I'm telling my girlfriends about him and they're like, no way, this is so cool. He's got his own boat. Yeah, maybe back then it was a big deal to be a pirate. So I have absolutely no idea what the story's about. I did take a quick read at the back and it looks like Captain Jasper Blackmore, there's the captain, has forsaken his past, walking away from England's shores in search of a new adventure after the war left him physically scarred and jilted by the one lady he dared to love. An American hoyden could never fit into his world despite his attraction to her. Can two people whose life's paths are at odds find common ground? Let's find out. I always like to start for some reason in the 30s, so how about page 38, the beginning of chapter 5. Jasper cracked his eyes open at the sound of Hawkins' voice. He had spent a long night above the deck in order to avoid the hoyden in his cabin. The hoyden. I love this word. I got to be honest with you. I looked it up, and the definition of hoyden is a woman of saucy, boisterous, or carefree behavior. So this means he's got a saucy woman in his cabin. Things could get interesting. Memories of her kiss and the effect she had on him filled his mind until at long last he nodded off. Now the sun broke above the horizon, casting its glow across the ocean. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes and stood. Hawkins? Chit chased you from your cabin, I see. An amused grin tugged at his lips. Jasper ran a hand through his mussed hair. One might say as much. I should congratulate the woman. Hawkins chuckled and clapped Jasper on the shoulder as he wiggled his dark brows. She must be a real spitfire to send you running. I did not run. On the contrary, I elected to keep her honor intact. He would never admit to being cowed by a woman's kiss, certainly not to his cousin, as well as a member of his crew. Besides, he spoke the truth. Had he stayed in the cabin, her virtue may well have been lost. Prudence had ignited his passion with that one kiss like no other woman had. This woman's got the haunting kiss here. His mind flashed back to the previous night. Her body had fit against his perfectly. All of her soft curves molded to him, begged him to run his hands over her flesh. She is saucy. The heat between them had been unlike anything he had previously experienced. Had she not pulled away, he would have been incapable of stopping at a kiss. He wanted all of her. Hawkins chuckled again, pulling him from his thoughts. Indeed, Captain Blackmore, the pirate gentleman. Whew! He's a pirate gentleman, my kind of guy. And he's into saucy women. Very funny, Hawkins, Jasper said in a dry tone. Let's give him that. Very funny, Hawkins, Jasper said in a dry tone. The hour was far too early for this sort of jesting. Jasper needed to wake up fully and figure out what he was going to do about Prudence. Prudence. I like that name, Prudence. Yeah, it reminds me of like a grandmother name, though. Prudence. And again, as a pure reaction video, I have no idea what the time frame of this is. I mean, I automatically, when I see this, I'm thinking 1800s. But we did see in the back that it's an American, saucy American lady. So that being said, it's definitely somewhere after 1776. Wake up fully and figure out what he was going to do about Prudence. Leaving her locked in his cabin was not a permanent solution. No, no, that's actually called kidnapping, Jasper. So, not a good plan as of so far. You might want to let her out of your room. Furthermore, he was determined to find out how she knew so much about ships and why he recognized sadness under her bravado. He had no time for Hawkins' jibs today. Is there a reason why you interrupted my slumber? His eyes shone with amusement. But of course. It seems the woman has barred your door from the inside. She refused to allow Kip in when he arrived with her breakfast. Shall we break it down? Jasper closed his eyes and drew in a deep breath. Bloody hell. You worry about keeping the Marion on course. I will deal with our guest. He turned to go to his cabin, then paused and looked back at his first mate. How long until we reach Domine est Maria? Now that's such a fun word to say. Domine est Maria. Maria. It's the language of love. Not long, Captain. Land was spotted at dawn. We should be there before 3 bells. Surely Prudence was ready to feel solid ground beneath her slippers. He hoped. If not, he'd have no choice but to break down the door. He could not allow her to starve in there, or to keep him from his quarters. What would his men think if their captain could not even make use of his own cabin? What would they think? Wait, you're telling me you're our captain, yet some saucy American boarded herself up in there and you're not doing anything about it? Bad move. Jasper's got to make a move here. He turned the corner and stopped short. His door was wide open. Cold fear gripped him as the thoughts of Prudence alone wandering the ship filled his mind. After a second, he propelled himself into the cabin. Prudence! He glanced around the space, not believing what greeted him. The woman was nowhere in sight. Storming to the doorway, he yelled, "Kip!" Jasper stomped back into the room and peered under his desk, then into a small space near his bed. There was nowhere else she could have tucked herself. The hoyden was not there. The foolish woman. What was she thinking? Where was she? And why had Kip left the door unlocked? She had to have tricked him with her cunning, the blasted woman. He made his way back to the main deck and grabbed the first sailor he found. Go find Kip at once. Send him to me. The man scurried off as soon as Jasper released him. With a scowl, Jasper turned toward where Hawkins stood near the rail. Hawkins. Captain, Hawkins replied, do you require assistance in breaking down the door? The door is wide open. I want her found at once. Take a couple of our men and search until you locate her, but do not alert the ship. I have no wish for 75 pirates to know there's a woman running around without protection. Ooh, a lot of testosterone on that ship. And we leave it at that. So right now, what do we have going on there? We've got old Prudence running around the pirate ship with 75 swinging pirates looking for a good time. They probably don't have a lot of protection on them, and she has no protection. Jasper has no idea where she is, and this could just all end up absolutely horrible. I mean, if this is what we're judging by here, she looks like a very beautiful woman, so I'm sure, the chances of the men seeing that long blonde hair when you're out to sea for however long they've been gone, I'm not sure here. I'm actually not even sure what the time frame is here. I did say that I wanted to find that out at some point. Oh, stumbling across something here. You know what the name of the ship is? The Black Dawn. That's metal. Sorry, you know what? The Black Dawn. You get the iron gaze. Game over, amigo. Let's see, when does this set sail? Let's see if we can figure this out here. I want to know, boom, Boston, Massachusetts. 1818. Amanda Mariel, you've definitely got me intrigued on what's happening here. I think that you should go out, check the links below for where you can purchase Captivated by the Captain. And don't forget to subscribe in the links wherever they are on here. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching.